Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. And in today's video, we're going to be continuing Konosuba, the last shinobi of the wonderful world. What if Madara Uchiha was reincarnated in Konosuba, Season 2, Part 3. As always, if you're new to the channel or if you're a regular and like what we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. Where we last left off with our series, Madara and friends find themselves in a massive amount of debt. Despite destroying the mobile fortress destroyer and saving the town, Madara found himself being accused of treason when, due to his actions, he accidentally destroyed the house of a lord. On top of that, we also got to meet Kazuma Sato. Yes, Kazuma still ended up in this world, but due to certain circumstances, instead of bringing Aqua with him, he ended up taking a skill instead trying to make a name for himself in the new world he was reincarnated in. Now, some of you might be wondering, what was Kazuma's skill or weapon that he gained? Well, I can't really go into details, but just know it was a very, very OP powerful weapon, but the problem was that Kazuma didn't read the fine print to learn how to use the weapon, which means he basically carried around a big paperweight that was useless. But in either regards, he now finds himself with a new team and allies as they must make the most of their situation. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Madara looked out the window of his now empty mansion. Despite doing a raid recently on Keel's dungeon and getting some treasure, ultimately it wasn't going to get them out of the debt that they were in. To make matters worse, Aqua decided to go buying everyone's drinks at the bar, and as a result, they had no money for basic food or necessities. The quests were far and few between, as it was still within the wintry time of year. And for the most part, with nothing to do, no way of leveling up, Madara felt like he was at his wit's end. On top of that, there was also the fact that from time to time, he found himself being ambushed, if not completely stalked, by Tobirama. This would usually lament in Madara doing the one thing that he could do: visiting Wiz. This usually consisted of having tea, resting his head between her thighs, and just crying his eyes out. Oftentimes in tears of frustration and pure anger. Wiz often having to be the comforting voice and the voice of reason to stop Madara from going off the deep end. Madara, Wiz would say, "It's okay. Honestly, it's gonna be fine. I can't take it. I can't take it. This is the 8th time this week. The 8th time that son of a... Madara! Calm down. Every 5 minutes, he's always on my case. I can't stand Tobirama. I mean, he is your rival, isn't he?" Rival? Oh, please. He wishes he was my rival. It took him and my best friend's wife just to try to beat me, along with an overgrown fox. Your best friend's wife? It's a long story. I don't want to get into it. Madara doesn't like to acknowledge that loss on his record. But Tobirama, well, he brings it up every chance he gets. If only Mikoto was here to see this. In either regard, Madara was at his wit's end. What was he going to do for himself and for his team? They still hadn't heard from Darkness in such a long time. There was no telling what that creepy Lord Aldart was having her do, and it was all for Madara's sake. He had to go rescue her. It was the least he could do. Madara was preparing his sights to go and find Darkness, but that wasn't going to be necessary, because you see, Darkness ended up returning. She was dressed in a rather elegant dress of sorts, a gown if you will. One that swayed with autumn colors, and a large hat, as well as exposing a lot in the cleavage area. Everyone, including Madara, was worried about Darkness, worried if that creepy lord had done anything to her. If he had, Madara was going to make him pay, personally. Although thankfully he hadn't. Darkness would make it very clear that Aldark wouldn't have done anything like that. However, he was being persistent in one matter, trying to get her to marry his son, Walter. Of course, Darkness had no desire to get married, despite the pleas from her father. But as they were trying to deal with her problem, Senna the prosecutor would come barging into the mansion, demanding Madara and everyone else's attention to a matter about monsters that were roving about outside the walls of the city, and asking if he was responsible for it. Now Madara was just being annoyed at this point. I don't have anything to do with damn monsters running through this town. Will you stop trying to pin every problem on me? A likely story. In either case, you're coming with me to... I'm not. What was that? I'm not. I have other things to deal with. Kazuma, Megumin, you go with Senna and deal with the monsters. I'm pretty sure they're probably low level, so you guys should be able to handle it. Kazuma and Megumin were ready to do as told. Senna was only pushing forward until Madara looked at her menacingly. Look, I am not your enemy, and I am not causing your problems. However, if you want a problem with me, let me warn you. I've seen your power, all of you. And if I wanted to, I could get rid of every single one of you without even trying. I could do it as easily as you all draw breath. You don't want to make an enemy out of me. I will give you my help, and I will give you my support. My team will. But if you keep trying to pick a fight with me, trust me, you won't live to regret it. Taking him at his word, Senna would take Kazuma and Megumin with her, while Madara and Aqua would go and help Darkness deal with her situation. As Lalatina Dustinus Ford, and being of a high-class family, marrying others of great prestige and honor was just something that came naturally. As Madara arrived to her home, he and Aqua would be dressed in a butler and maid uniform. They were going to be serving as Aqua's interpretation of servants. Even though Aqua found herself not really liking the idea, after all, she was a god, and gods didn't work and serve others, although Madara would quickly snap her out of that attitude, as they were there to get Darkness out of there and go home. Of course, that would be easier said than done when Lord Walter would arrive, and among his attendants would be none other than him. Tobirama! Madara, why are you here? I was hired by Lord Aldark. He was worried that you might come in with your trickery. That's why I was called. And Tobirama turned bright red as he looked towards the girl with the long blue hair. Lady Aqua. Oh, hi Tobirama. Don't tell me, Madara would say. He's in love with a useless goddess? Oh, this is hilarious. Madara couldn't help but laugh at the circumstance. Tobirama trying his best to make sure that he looked precise and uniformed as he walked over to Aqua and took a bow before kissing her hand, giving her words of sweet nothings and other forms of praise. See, Madara, you could learn a thing or two from Tobirama. Oh, please. Like I would ever be a kiss-up to you. Better to be a kiss-up to a god than to a lich. You take that back. Of course he would be in love with a lich. After all, things of the undead and of the unsortly kind are all that he knows of. Before Tobirama could finish that sentence, Madara yanked him by the collar. I don't care what you say about me. I got over you and your words a long time ago. You ever mention her again, and I swear I'll make you regret it. The two would eye one another down before Darkness's father would calm them. The reason for this meeting was to make sure that the marriage nuptials would go over well, and Tobirama was there to make sure that Madara wouldn't cast genjutsu or any other illusions to stall the matters. The sad thing is that Walter was actually a good guy. There was nothing wrong with him at all, although not for Darkness at least. Darkness going on a rant and raving about the kind of man that she wanted. She did not want a man that was pristine or noble. No, she wanted a man that was lazy, skinny or fat or well-built. It made no difference to her. She wanted someone who was constantly in debt, someone who was drinking and blaming societies for his lot, the kind of man that went around and took absolutely nothing from no one, the kind of man that wasn't afraid to throw down on a woman, the kind of man that would show her no mercy, the type of man that would beat her, scratch her, throw her against the wall, take an empty bottle of alcohol, throw it at her head and tell her, "Yo, Darkness, get your dumb ass up out there and make my money." That was the type of thing that got her going. But for Madara, the only thing he could think of was that his comrade was a lost cause. Of course, Tobirama didn't make things any easier, since he was being paid well to make sure that everything went off without a hitch. Every chance Madara took to try to sabotage things, Tobirama was right there to fix it all back up. The two were going at one another almost all day, to the point where Darkness was kind of starting to get annoyed with it all. The only thing she wanted was someone who would actually challenge her, someone who would actually strike her, give her a good fight. Of course, Lord Walter never thought he could be the type of man that would hit a woman, and Tobirama would shake his head at the very idea of someone hitting a woman. That was until Madara came around and hit Darkness right on the head, leaving everyone speechless. You all treat her like she's some dainty flower, yet you don't take into account that she's actually a skilled warrior, a proud defender of Axel. It's time you started treating her as such. If you can't show her that much respect, then it's obvious you don't truly love her, now do you? Walter was taken aback by the challenge. He knew he'd have to follow through, at least if he were going to show his true resolve. He drew a practice sword, and Darkness would do the same, as the two began to fight. Now, under normal circumstances, Darkness would be absolutely terrible, horrible. She couldn't hit a target to save her life. There's no way she could beat the son of a famed lord. But you'd actually be surprised. You see, by no means was Darkness a good swordsman. What? You think this is some type of fanfic where I turn all your losers into heroes? Oh, come on, get real. Give me more credit, damn it. But in either case, she wasn't bad. At the very least, she went from hitting absolutely nothing to hitting at least 1 out of 10 times. She was, I can't call her decent. I can't call her that either. She wasn't that. No, she was not that. Well, she kind of is that. She was just below average. And you know what? Sometimes you just have to be just below average. Sometimes you can't be average. Everyone wants to be average. You all think you're average, but you're really not. But Darkness, she wasn't average. She was just below average. All the same, Walter could not find himself to strike her with 100%. That's why Darkness demanded Madara get in there and show him how it's done. And Madara didn't hold back, even with a practice sword. He beat Darkness up and down all throughout the battling halls. Tobirama, not wanting to be outdone, wanted to show that Lord Walter could have what it takes. Tobirama, also trying to impress Darkness, didn't want to be outstaged by Madara. Oh, please. You call that taking it all the way? This is how you take it all the way. Then Tobirama started getting involved in the fight. Then Madara. Then Tobirama. The two were, how should I put this? The two were, taking turns with her. No, Not that way. Get your dirty minds out of the gutter, you. But they were taking turns beating on her. Were clothes getting ripped? Probably, yes. Was there water? Yes. Freezing ice? Maybe. A little bit of fire? Well, who never got hurt by fire anyway? Safe to say, if you walked in the room, it would be a very compromising position for anyone, to say the least. It didn't make things any better, though, when Darkness and Madara got into a fisticuffs, and Madara tried to use Drain Touch to restrain her. Darkness not wanting to give in for a moment, and Madara having no choice but to play on her, well, kink of sorts, threatening to do all sorts of unspeakable and horrible, degrading, deplorable things, all of the torturous ways that he could break her mentally and physically in her spiritual mind of sorts. Madara using her Sharingan to activate a special kind of illusion within Darkness's mind. What he did within Darkness's mind, I cannot say because this is a family-friendly channel. But what I can say is, Darkness was left on the floor in full exasperation. It didn't help matters when Darkness's father walked into the room and saw his daughter lying with her clothes shredded, wet, freezing, on the floor, compromised between two men. And, well, Aqua didn't help matters either when she pointed at them and said they did it, and he was ready to take both of their heads off. But after a long, and I mean a long conversation, things were cleared up. Kinda, maybe, not really at all. Safe to say, Madara and Tobirama were done for the day. No amount of money was worth this kind of stress. If this is what Madara had to put up with on a daily basis, this truly was his personal hell. And Madara, for once in his life with Tobirama, could not have agreed more. Safe to say, though, when Darkness awoken, she smoothed things over with her father, and then decided to tell another lie, saying that she and Madara were a couple and were expecting a child. Of course, Walter, being the kind-hearted boy that he was extremely happy and was ready to call off things immediately, believing that such a union couldn't be broken up. And Darkness's father, well, he was extremely happy as well. The idea of finally bearing a grandchild for his own. Aqua, well, she was just utterly confused as both she and Tobirama would hold each other in disbelief. Madara! I didn't know you and Darkness had that type of relationship. Madara, you fiend, Tobirama would say. All in a desperate ploy to revive your clan. But to think you would take advantage of such a poor ditzy girl. Have you no shame? Will you all shut up? She's not pregnant, damn it! Of course, hardly anyone seemed to care at this point. Although now, with everything being smoothed over, with Lord Walter deciding he was going to go home, Tobirama was going to escort the young lord. He wasn't going to get paid, but to be honest, at this point, he really didn't care. However, before anyone had a chance to leave or do anything, the doors would burst open with Kazuma and Megumin, well, Kazuma carrying a tired Megumin behind him, as Senna the prosecutor would make her way in once again. She called and demanded for Madara Uchiha to step forward at once. Madara merely rolled his eyes. It was as if this day could not get any worse. This concludes Konosuba, the last shinobi of the wonderful world. What if Madara Uchiha was reincarnated in Konosuba? Season 2, Part 3. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Also, stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue Naruto Polaris, The Fallen Star, What If Hanabi Hyuga Was Born First, Part 28. the finale to the Momoshiki arc, as well as a special announcement that's going to be coming following the conclusion of the arc. Along with that, other news and discussions for the rest of the series will be made around that time, so stay tuned for that as well. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.